Hello, Maribel.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I just wanted to, Ashley had requested that we put your guys' picture up. I don't know how well you can see it. Can you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can see it. My major is industrial technology and packaging.
I don't know if I can fit that all in there, but I'll try it.
You can put ITP for short.
Okay. Well, I don't know if they'll know that. It fits.
Okay.
It's there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. So what does packaging have to do with your IT?
So that's actually so the major is called industrial tech and packaging, and so in that major you can either choose the IT realm or the packaging realm. So I'm sticking with the packaging side.
So what did that do?
So packaging is essentially like comes in all products that we have, like packaging's all around us.
Right, right.
So it incorporates a lot of different aspects in the major, but like once I graduate, I would be considered a packaging engineer. And like what I want to do with that is I want to create sustainable packaging so that we're emitting less waste into our environment.
Cool. Cool. So I'm gonna take off my video if I can figure out how to do that. Wait for everyone else to come in. I wanted you guys to be able to hide them. Oops, that didn't work. Can you still see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Well, I guess I'll stay. I don't know. There's Ashley. Hello.
Hello. I can't find my computer glasses. I lost them.
Uh-oh. Well, we'll read to you if we need to.
Well, no, it's more just for the
Glare.
yeah, so it doesn't, yeah, so my eyes aren't dead by the end of the day.
Uh-oh.
So
So can you see my screen?
I can, yeah. You might want to do the slideshow version
Oh, sorry.
because it's showing the side.
Okay, let me do that. Stop sharing. Is it showing what?
It's like showing your preview and then the slide.
Okay,
Not a big deal, but just might
give me just a minute here.
Hi, Carlos.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sorry. Oh, man.
Oh, are you at work?
I'm still at work.
Oh my goodness. You're a trooper.
So we have a couple of people that are logging on right now.
Did you send the link? Yeah.
Yes, to your email.
And Pam, you still need students to send their H numbers?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm in the slideshow and I'm not seeing how to share this.
I got promoted, so now my office is kind of.
I think you just press play. Are you talking about like to present it?
You
Yeah.
should just do, yeah, like view slideshow from
Yeah.
beginning or
I
whatever.
did that, but let's see.
Hey,
Okay.
Evan,
Hi, hopefully I'm made it in time. I don't know
you're
if we're-
perfect.
Okay.
You're good. We're just, oh, Hancock's calling me. It's not you, Pam, is it?
No.
I
There,
denied.
does that work? Is that what you meant?
Play from beginning.
Yeah, do play from beginning.
Well, there's only one slide.
I know, but it should see, it removes. Oh, yours has got the funky version though.
Okay. Can you do it or do you want me to do it?
I can try, yeah.
I updated it, so let me send it to you.
Well, you sent it already, didn't you?
Well, I updated Heidi's picture. She
Again?
sent me one. She sent me one from her. I just got the other offline.
I know, but you sent us one at 11:50.
Okay.
So I'm assuming
I was
that's
covering downstairs, so I wasn't sure. I did resend it in case you need it.
I got it. I'm just trying to find you guys again. There it is on my two screens. Did it share? Oh, see, it's doing it on mine too. Weird.
Well,
Oh well. It doesn't do that when you do it, but then
Hello, everyone. Here, Maribel, Ashley.
hello, hello. Okay, yeah, I don't know why. It's not
check
letting
out our
me.
center.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Ashley.
Hi, hi, hi. So far, we just have the student panelists, so hopefully we have some students hop on here.
Yeah, this week has been kind of like, where is everybody?
I know.
Well, thanks for being here, students. Awesome transfer
There we
stars.
go. Okay. There we go. You all have such fantastic pictures. It's a good mix here.
How's everybody doing out there in the real world? You can unmute yourself and share. And Ronaldo, good to see you. How's San Jose treating you?
Good. Yeah, I mean, out in the real world, but I'm still living with my parents. So
So you've been
That's okay.
remoting?
what's that?
You've been remoting?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's good though. I'm applying to graduate already for next year. It's good.
Wow.
Carlos
Awesome.
says he's stressed and tired. Carlos is at work. That's why has his picture off
Oh.
out there in the real world, working with a mask on.
And Evan said he has class, so he'll only be here for probably till 12:30ish, or maybe a little before.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, happy you could make it. Hopefully we sent out an email to students. Evan, are you over at Kalu?
Yeah, I'm in the dorms.
How's everything over there on that campus?
It's good. We just started a lot more in-person classes this week, but I've been having in-person classes for almost the whole semester.
Is that just because of the nature of the classes you're in?
Yeah, one of my classes specifically, we were able to be in person indoors for a while.
What are you taking this, or their semester, right?
I'm sorry?
Their semester system, right?
Yeah, their semester. I'm taking a news production class and 2 entrepreneurship classes and an independent study class.
Cool. I know it was cool to talk to your mom a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
She's gonna finish up.
Yep.
Very cool.
So depending on how many students we get, one of the things that you all could do is maybe just share on the chat some advice you would have. We can always just take a copy of that transcript. And I know one of the things we've been working at doing is updating our testimonials on our webpage and on our Facebook page. So we'll definitely use your words of wisdom one way or another.
That's a good point. Zoom has been so great for so many things, but maybe student panel is not something that they're used to. I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, ladies, but our workshop attendance has been a little better via Zoom.
Yes, definitely. That modality has been better now with Zoom.
Because obviously students can just jump in from wherever they're at, which is great.
And one of the other things that we learned, guys, since you're familiar with the UTC services, is we learned that recording these Zoom workshops also has an added advantage in that we can post the recordings, and then students that may have wanted to be at the workshop but couldn't would actually just go and watch the videos at their own, in their own leisurely time. And we've had students tell us, oh, I watched the video and it was really helpful. So I think we've had a wider reach that way.
Definitely.
And are we recording this right now? Is it already recording? I can't see. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So maybe what we could do too, Ash, is once you're ready to start, is just an idea, is we can just proceed as, you know,
Yep.
the show's on, and then we can post the recording. And
Yeah,
I'm
for
sure
sure.
students will go visit them and hear your words of wisdom there.
So I'm going to stop sharing because no students are here, but it takes up both of my screens, and I have questions here somewhere in my Word document. So yeah, if you guys are comfortable with that, I mean, we're here and we want to hear anyway, but we will post this, and I think a lot of students will be able to watch the recording. So we'll just go with that. So feel free to stay unmuted if you want, or if I know if you have noise in the background, you know, you can jump in and out. But I think to start, obviously sharing your name, your major, the school you're coming from, and if you want, I mean, you can even, like Maria was saying, start with, you know, a general piece of advice. Oh, good, we have a student jumping in, that you might want to share with students. I know you're all in different times of your process too, which is great, because some of you are done with university, some of you are getting ready to finish up, and I know some of you are in your beginning years. So feel free. I know it's kind of weird because we're probably all in different squares on each other's screens. So I'll just kind of try to navigate you guys so it doesn't get crazy. But if you want to start, Maribel, and just kind of start with that, and then we'll throw some questions. And then, yeah, thank you to the student who joined us. We're just getting started with our student panel. So if you have questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat, and we'll make sure that the student panel answers them.
Okay, so I'll start us off. My name is Maribel Morales. I go to Cal Poly. This is my first year attending, and my major is industrial tech and packaging. And a piece of advice that I would give to students going to Hancock would be to utilize all the resources that the campus gives us, because from like health to just like educational resources, there's so many. So I would get involved and ask, you know, your peers or your instructors to kind of point you in that direction.
Awesome, good stuff. Evan, I'm going to go to you next.
Okay, I'm Evan Vega. I'm a senior in my last semester at California Lutheran University. My major is film and television, and I got my associates in liberal arts from Hancock. And I did that in 2 years. So if you want to be on track for your, like, if you want to get all of your college done in 4 years, like I took summer classes and like was like a full-time student like every single semester. But some advice I want to give is, like, when I first attended Hancock, like I didn't even want to go to college at all, but like I figured it was, or my parents were like, you should go. So I was like, okay, fine. And I didn't really take like my classes super seriously. I mean, I passed them, like, thankfully, but I didn't like have the idea I didn't even know you could transfer to a university like from a community college. Like I didn't really know anything about that. So I didn't take it too seriously. So I want to say, if you are like in your first semester, or you're, you know, just getting back into community college, and if you don't have a plan or a goal, or you don't know like what you want to do, you don't know your major, like that's okay. Like you still have time to figure that out. Like I think that's what a benefit I really had from my 2 years at Hancock was, it gave me extra time to really consider and explore my options. So consider what I want to do with my future and explore my options. So once I figured out that I want to transfer, like I focused on like getting good grades and like being involved at the school. So I would say, if you want to transfer to a university, like focus on getting good grades, passing all your classes, because it'll just make you more qualified and a better candidate for a university. And then also like work with your counselor like as much as you can. I've heard like devastating stories of my peers that will pay for a class and take a class that's really hard, and they didn't even need it, and it doesn't transfer to the university or something like that. So the thought of spending a whole semester in a class that I don't even need and doesn't even help me, like, and that I had to pay for and stuff like that, like, is not okay and not something I want to do. So, I mean, if it happens, it happens. But if you can really avoid that, like I worked with you, Ashley, like so much. And I was like, I knew exactly what I needed to take and when I needed to take it by and what my university needed. So I didn't have to spend any extra time on classes I didn't need.
Good advice. I'm going to jump down to Carlos, who's out in the field.
Can you guys hear me perfectly fine or no?
I think we can hear you.
We can hear
Yeah,
you.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, you guys can see me fine too, right? Sorry, it's just
Yeah, you're good.
okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, but I basically went to UCR when I was pretty much not in the boat of going to school either, the same as just kind of confused about the whole UT. I mean, transferring over. My siblings didn't really go to school, my older siblings, so I was pretty confused. I went to UC, I think UTC randomly, and I met Ashley, and then I briefly spoke to Maria and Jose, and then met Pam. Got really along with Ashley, and then she was like, "Oh, you should do this, or maybe look at the trips." So the trips were probably one of the most fun things to do. Definitely, being exposed to schools and then trying to live the life of how much money they're giving you and budgeting. But I went to UCR. My major was sociology, but I decided to do a double major in biology. I took a class in pharmaceutical, or I think it was pharmaceutical. I think it was just for the heck of it, and I liked it. So I was like, you know what, maybe I'll apply for med school. And I ended up majoring in biology. It went pretty good. I graduated within a year instead of 2 years. I did do summer courses, and as well as like, I think it was, yeah, summer courses. I took a few more classes. It wasn't easy, right, being a double major as well, but I think the experience that the UTC gave us, exposing us to get out there and do all this stuff really helped me out a lot. And then after graduating within a year, I applied to med school roughly in May, got into USC. I'm doing pretty good so far, but taking a break at the moment, on pause and exposing myself more to the field that I want to do. I got in with the public health department here in the county of Santa Barbara, and I've been getting promoted pretty gradually as I'm going. So definitely probably go back to school and finish off, hopefully, right, my MD degree, but if not, well, something like that. But I would say something to do when applying for any school, I would say do something unique. I never did anything unique except when I transferred over to UCR. That's when I was like, you know what, I'll apply for a few jobs, see that, and I was like, I would say something unique is probably more better, because it jumps off the page. Starting something like, don't do it just because you want to go into a school, definitely do it because it's something you want to do and it's your life you want to live in, but I would say like, it's pretty much like a roller coaster, you don't really expect to get into all these schools. I didn't expect to get into USC after I went to a public school. UCR is not really known, but for the most part, I think it was really helpful that Ashley was pushing me out there and like, just do it. And I actually ran into her at Walmart, I believe. And it was great seeing her, and telling her like my experiences as I got into public schools and this private school, working with the public health department now and COVID life. It's really a great experience doing it, honestly, like really helped out a lot.
Awesome. And you guys noticed that Carlos mentioned our trips. And right now, of course, with COVID, we're not able to travel, but hopefully those will be back eventually. But in the meantime, there's a lot of virtual tours, of course, that you can do with campuses. So definitely take advantage of the virtual resources. I'm going to jump over to Heidi and Ronaldo, and you guys can take it away.
Hello, so I'm gonna go first, and I took 3 years here at Hancock. I ended up getting my AA in Administration of Justice, Sociology, and Early Childhood Settings or Development. And I got extremely involved also with Ronaldo. We both joined Student Ambassador, which is a student work job. And then I got involved with the student body and other stuff too, but getting involved definitely helped me get into a school that I really wanted. And something that I would say is you don't necessarily have to get involved, but you do find a lot of connections, which is important once you want to join any job or just knowing resources. Those connections really help you. And also, if you don't have the exact GPA, or I guess you can say if you doubt yourself to apply to a certain school, I would definitely tell you to still apply because you actually never know. I didn't think I was going to get into UCLA and Berkeley, but I ended up getting waitlisted for UCLA. And I ended up getting into Berkeley with a GPA that was definitely not, the expectation of my major. And right now I'm doing sociology, and hopefully by next year I'll minor in race and the law. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Get involved and definitely find those connections because they will help you in the long term.
And my name is Ronaldo. This is my first year at San Jose State. I'm a justice studies major over there, just criminal justice, and I got an AA in administration of justice here. I think my piece of advice is pretty similar to Heidi's, is to find things within your field to get involved in. I think that's how you find out, because I switched majors twice here at Hancock because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So getting involved in things that have to do with your major really reinforces or makes you change what field you want to get into. I came in as a business major out of high school, and within a semester I switched. So definitely explore your options, especially if you don't know what you want to do. But also just get involved. You meet a lot of people, you make a lot of connections. You find out about things that you probably would have never known you wouldn't have done if you didn't get involved. Like me and Heidi, we were in student body together, and we got to go to Washington, D.C. for a few days. So things like that, take advantage of the opportunities and yeah, get involved, definitely.
I would also say that it's very important to take your time here at community college. There is a stigma that, going to a CC is like not good, and, people who got bad grades in high school only go here. But honestly, like if it wasn't for Hancock, I wouldn't have known exactly what I wanted to do. And I personally, working as a student ambassador, we both have witnessed students who went straight to a 4-year and have no idea what they want to do or just completely hate their major. And they wasted all this money literally for nothing. So definitely take your time here at the community college and don't rush anything. At Berkeley, I see a lot of students who are just so depressed because they're doing something they don't want to do. So definitely take your time. There's literally no rush at all. So yeah, that's our advice.
Good stuff, you guys. Just a quick reminder, if you're a Hancock student who's joined us, please send your student ID number, your H number, to either myself or Pam or Maria. You can private chat it. And then if you have questions that you want to ask of our panel, throw those in the chat at any time and we'll make sure that we get those to them. I'm going to jump on to the next question that we have from the Transfer Center, and feel free to just chime in, how you guys want to at this point. What resources did you use while at Hancock and how were they useful? And also on that notion, were there any resources that you wish you would have found out about sooner, or like later on you heard about something and you're like, man, I really wish I would have known about that. Wish I would have used it. So anybody can take it. Evan, if you want to go first, because I know you're going to be leaving soon, maybe, and then just popcorn around.
Yeah, so the IGETC certification, or no, I forgot what it's called, where you get, maybe you can help me, Ashley, where like I chose UCSB. It's like a transfer thing.
The TAG, the transfer admission guarantee?
Yeah, that was super helpful. And there was another friend of mine that also did the TAG program to get into another school. But anyway, so for Cal Lutheran, if you get accepted into a public UC and end up choosing California Lutheran University, they give you like a huge discount. So what I did is I did the TAG program for UCSB, and I got accepted into UCSB and then chose Cal Lutheran University, and I got like a really good scholarship or discount or whatever you call it. So yeah, TAG program is really good. Or if because like TAG program, it has like a set amount of universities that you can like pretty much guarantee you get in, I think is what it stands for. Yeah. So if you really want to go to UCSB or one of those schools that's on the thing, you could do the TAG program and like be pretty confident that you're gonna do it.
Yeah, good point. So UC transfer admission guarantee. So if you haven't heard of UC TAG, talk to myself or Maria about that. It's a great avenue for a guarantee into a campus like Evan was talking about. But then for him, he was able to use it to get a discounted tuition at Cal Lutheran. It's called their public price promise, where you basically get public tuition prices at a private school. So it's a pretty cool deal. Anybody else, feel free to jump in. Resources that you used or wish you would have used.
So like during my time at Hancock, I think that the two main resources that I used, I feel like pretty often, were the health center and the STEM center. So the health center was good for like anything, like you could get different kinds of like medication, like if you had a headache or if you had like a cough or anything like that. And I went to the STEM center as well. And that's where I met a lot of my friends. And I got help in my science and math classes, and my physics classes, which were really hard. And so they had a lot of great tutors and a really good community that I went to every day, which was nice.
Maribel, can you share with them what the STEM Center is?
So the STEM centers, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So the resource center is open to everybody. So they have the STEM center and the Mesa Center, which are, they work together. So they're working with the same majors, but it's open to anybody of the campus. And but it's mainly geared towards those science and math majors. Just to give them a little bit extra resources for their majors. And I believe there's other areas of campus for other majors as well.
We're working on it. STEM's got the center for now, but yeah, we're working
there's
on
the
it for other
nursing
majors.
center too.
Yeah, we're working on hopefully getting other majors, because that's a really great resource, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So we'd love to see that for other majors. All right, anybody else want to hop in?
I'll mention definitely joining EOPS, having counselors that you can go to that are just for EOPS students is really helpful. Aside from that though, when I was taking math classes, I took a few. I used the Math Center a lot, and especially when I needed my graphing calculator. So I think it was like $10 a semester to borrow a graphing calculator, which are over $100 if you buy one. So that was really helpful, especially since I wasn't going to continue as a math major or as someone who took math classes. So that was really helpful, and the people also at the Math Center are really good at helping you with your problems in math. There's study rooms and a lot of computers, and yeah, you can always feel confident that you'll get some help in there.
Anybody else want to add to resources?
Yeah, I'll go next. The resources I use pretty much on campus, both at UCR and USC. Well, COVID hit when I was at USC, but they're still kind of open in a way. It's a private sector, right? So I definitely use the career services. At UCR, I didn't know that I wanted to go into med school, but they kind of help you in a way to find a job after you graduate, right? I'm not certified in med school yet, and here I am working for the public health department. And when you work for these nonprofit organizations, they pretty much help you out to get certified in a faster way, whether it's private or public. But most campuses do have a career services department to help students to write resumes, learn about interview skills, writing cover letters. So I think that's super, super important to hit the career service center and just ask any question you have. I was shy at first when I was at UCR, but I remember Ashley was telling me, well, this is your school, go and throw yourself out there. And that's what I kind of did as well, just to give me an expose. And then my last one is recreational services. You guys pay a huge chunk for those. So I definitely recommend using that to your advantage when you can. I mean, it's not a high priority, right? Because school is stressful, taking units, working. Definitely take advantage of recreational services. I know Ashley was telling me that at UCR they had a spa center, and it is a spa center. It's one of the newest recreational services they have there. It's really great. So definitely take advantage of recreational services.
Awesome. And you guys might notice Maria's thrown a couple links in there as we talk about services. So definitely check those out. Anything, Heidi, did you want to add anything to resources before I move to the next question?
Yeah. So EOPS, they also give you money if you do qualify for it. And they helped me, I think, for 2 years, which is pretty good. They either give you a card, you get to choose if it's a card for the bookstore or just money that the college gives you. And you can use it literally on anything that you need. I personally used it on books and just random stuff like food, if I had leftovers. And another thing is also coming to the UT Center like every day will help a lot. It also motivates you. As you can see, there's a lot of like transfer stuff. So it gets you kind of going and reminds you like, oh, I need to do this and that. I know there's also, I think it's called Puente and I think it was Calso. They're also like kind of like EOPS. They all have their own, requirements, but they all kind of do the same thing, and they're really beneficial for students. So definitely look into those.
Good stuff, you guys. Okay, so moving on, what was the biggest challenge you had to face in your transfer process, and how did you overcome that challenge? And anybody can take it.
I think it's as special right now, especially because a few of us transferred as COVID hit. So it wasn't just different for us, but it was different for the universities. So I think for me, because there's not many people in my family or hardly anyone that has gone to a college university. So it was trying to figure out who I had to go to or who I had to talk to at the university for whatever I needed, and trying to find that out on my own. So that I think that for me was a little bit challenging, was just to get familiar with the stuff at the university without actually being there.
I'll go next. So I think that my biggest struggle at Hancock um, was when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I would say I spent most of my time at Hancock just doing my general ed. So because my major is kind of like there's very select schools that have packaging courses. So I knew that that was going to be something that I'm going to have to take in bulk when I transfer. So I did all my general ed while I was thinking about what I wanted to do. And once I hit like a year and a half, I realized that I found packaging, and that helped motivate me through the courses that I started taking. And as they started to advance, I was starting to become a better student because I had motivation now. And I think that Hancock really, once I knew what I wanted and once I had that motivation, it was kind of just up to me to grab the resources for myself and kind of push myself to end up at Cal Poly. So I think that the biggest struggle was, I guess, mainly myself, because I feel like Hancock will prepare you for anything um, that's in your journey of educational advancement.
I can kind of echo with what Maribel was saying. For me, it was two things. It was switching my major and also getting involved. So I started here doing child development, and what I did is I went to volunteer at the museum, and I realized I don't want to work with little kids. And so I think that once you actually do something that's like on hands, you realize, okay, I do want to do this, or I don't like this at all. Not that I didn't love kids, I still want to work with kids, but I just didn't want to focus on child development. And another thing was having to realize that I'm going to spend another year here. I was planning to just do 2 years, and I was okay with doing the extra year because now I know a lot about criminal justice and I'm in love with it. And also the other thing is getting involved. It can be intimidating, just going into things that are for like adults or that are for people with authority or with titles. But I joined Academic Senate and I sat in different committees my second year without not knowing anyone. And honestly, it pretty much gave me a lot of opportunities and a lot of connections, which is also important. So definitely, like I said earlier, take your time and focus on what you really want to do. And if you don't want to do it, don't stress it out. Like, change it. Nothing's gonna happen. It's only gonna save you later on in the long term. And yeah, that's it.
For my end, I would say the most difficult thing at both schools when I was at UCR was the fact that I am a DACA recipient, right? It's more like anxiety in a sense. I never really had much anxiety or dealt with it, but not being able to apply for certain scholarships, right? Because other people or certain other populations can apply pretty much something I face a lot with, being able to pay for college, how was I going to get resources, transportation wise, complications when I was at USC, when I got into being a DECA recipient, right? So that was a big challenge I faced for the most part. But I would say definitely get resources out there, like there's resources for DECA recipients. Never give up, right? Definitely apply and apply. You never know what you're going to run into in a sense. And I'm assuming most schools do have like a DACA or Dreamer program, kind of, or Chicano student program, if you guys are Hispanic or not, right? But definitely that was a huge challenge I faced going to school.
That's a really good point, Carlos. That actually leads into our next question. A big hurdle for a lot of students, of course, is the finances. So what did that look like for you, the financial experience with the school cost, applying for financial aid, what kind of resources, maybe you guys came across some really cool financial resources, any money matter tips that you have to share with students currently at Hancock, and especially for those that are afraid. I think a lot of times people are afraid to even apply to transfer because they're so worried about the money part.
So I can definitely jump into that. My experience is pretty tricky. So I knew that living in Oakland was going to be like a lot of money. I always told people it was going to cost me an eye and a leg. But honestly, like I wouldn't really get too intimidating about the financial aid, because when I started my first semester, I'm going to tell you guys, to be honest, it was like around $4,000 for just one semester. And my first month, not even my first semester, my first month, I paid like $2,000. And at that point, I'm just like, okay, by the end of the 2 years, I'm going to be like broke with a lot of loans. And so what I did after I did my FAFSA is I contacted financial aid and I told them if there's any like money out there, scholarships or whatever that I can apply to. And just by doing that, I think 2 weeks later, I got grants. I got like 4 grants. So it covered my whole semester. And I realized that it's going to cover me until I finish Berkeley. Not this summer, but that's a different situation. And honestly, it helped a lot. I always told Rona too that, a lot of students, like they get very like shy to ask for money. But if you don't ask, like they're not gonna give you the resources. And trust me, the money is out there. You literally just have to ask and they're gonna give it to you because they're gonna see like, oh, this person like actually needs money. So we're gonna hand it to them. And if I wouldn't have called them, I probably would have still been paying, what I paid my first month this whole semester. So definitely don't be afraid to ask. Even here at Hancock, you could definitely go to admissions or to Ashley and Maria or any of them and figure out how you can get money. And it's honestly going to be worth it. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask. And do you have anything?
Oh yeah, I can keep going. So I go to San Jose, and the tuition is relatively cheaper than many other schools. It's about $39.50, which I mean, it's still not like cheap, but it's cheaper compared to other schools. So that on that note, I was really glad. But definitely, like Heidi said, look for those resources. She mentioned summer school, and she's probably gonna have to pay for summer school. But the good thing about San Jose is that they offered us one free class either in summer or in winter. So looking out for stuff like that, the school, not only financial aid, but the school has many resources that you can take advantage of. And I'm gonna do one course this summer to help me towards my degree, and then I'm gonna take the least amount of classes I've taken in a while, my spring and fall semester, my next fall and spring semester, and then I'll be done. So definitely looking out for what resources can help you out. It's not just FAFSA. It's not just the Dream Act. Me and Heidi are also DACA recipients, so we know that struggle. So looking out for scholarships that are specific to your major that are just offered at your school, that are offered nationwide and internationally. There's a lot of different things that you can look into. It's just going out and looking for them.
And there's also scholarships that Hancock does provide. I don't know the website, and I don't know if Ashley or Maria know, but in a page on the Hancock website, there's a list of scholarships. And also when you transfer, you also get newsletters where there's a lot of scholarships. And that's important to look at too, because sometimes scholarships out there are not real. So it's all about discernment and knowing, what are you going to apply to? So they're definitely out there. So look for those scholarships too.
Yeah, I'm sure Maria will throw that link in there, but yeah, our financial aid webpage has, and they're always updating it with new scholarships. And I'm sure every single one of your universities has some kind of financial aid page that has scholarships listed as well. And then of course at Hancock, we have our big foundation scholarship that we give out, multiple scholarships that we give out every year. So that's always opening in November, closing in early February. You get your award in May. So if anybody received one of those or applied for it, you can talk about that process too. But I'll let you guys keep going.
Yeah, I can talk about that process. So there's an Allen Hancock College scholarship happening every year. And the application does open for like a long period of time. It was from, I believe, like November it's open, and then till February, right around that time. Yeah. So you definitely have like enough time to fill it out, and it can really cover basically any student at Hancock. You just have to apply. So I would just maybe focus, if you're trying to get the scholarship, just focus on the essays, because I know that that's really what they look at. But that was a really great scholarship that I got for a couple years, and that helped out. I feel like during my time at Hancock, I was fortunate to have an older sister who took the same route that I did. So she went to Hancock for 2 years, and then she transferred to Cal Poly, and she went to Hancock for 3 years and transferred to Cal Poly in 2 years. And so I was able to kind of look at her journey and see where she made financial mistakes. And what I did at Hancock is I kind of took a lighter course load, but I still maintained 12 units to get FAFSA. I saved my FAFSA, and I was always working about like 2 jobs. I know it's not the route for everybody, but I was always working, so I was able to finally save for myself. And so now that I'm at Cal Poly, I am starting to use some of my savings, because the tuition's more expensive at Cal Poly, and at Hancock I was able to get BOG, which I believe is California Promise now. So I was able to save my and basically get a free tuition and just keep working to pay off my later tuition.
Carlos, do you have any financial information to add?
Yeah, I actually do. So for myself, when I was at UCR, I was definitely considering like cooking most of my meals at home. That saves you tons of money actually. For example, I was in a fraternity, and it did not do me good on Thursday and Fridays because you had to hang out on Thursday and Fridays. And it was a lot of spending money with like out eating with friends. Well, not just a fraternity, right? But with friends or colleagues or connectors or networks, whatever it is. But definitely cook your meals at home. That saves you a lot, way more money than eating out. And of course, if your financial aid looks a little bit lower than you expected, definitely reappeal if you feel like that's the right thing to do. That's what I did when I was at USC for medical school, and I actually did make a difference. I did buy a lot of used books, which definitely comes in handy. Used books, I totally recommend. I mean, they might miss a page or two, but take a picture from your neighbor. They don't mind. I mean, it's college. Like, you guys are going to be there for a while, right? And then what I did was I applied super early for all my scholarships that I did. I ended up getting, I think after the next spring, I reapplied for UCR, and I ended up getting a full ride for the rest of the quarter. So whatever was left over, like most of you guys mentioned, I definitely saved it up and used it for like my savings account for like emergency funds. And if you create a savings account, definitely don't touch it. Like, try to prohibit yourself from doing that. Although I mean, it's definitely hard, right? But take advantage of resources at school, like the library, they charge you a lot. Definitely take advantage of that. If it's free books, lenders, whatever it is, do that. If you can't afford a laptop, like for example, myself, when I was at UCR, I definitely got a lender from there. And I mean, if you guys are into Apple products, they definitely have Apple products. So I recommend definitely getting a lender, which really helps out a lot. Also, when they have like free booths, that's cool. Like most of the fraternities or clubs or sports, they'll bring out food. Sometimes there's leftovers. I would go over and I would take my backpack and I would just bring them into my backpack, and they come in handy, you know, like energy drinks. I took a lot of them when it was finals. At USC, they have like tons of booths. Any school pretty much has those booths, but definitely take your backpack, ask them, can I take more than one? It's free, you know, you're paying for those fees. So yeah, definitely go for them. Don't be shy.
Good stuff. Maribel, I saw you had your hand raised. Go for it.
Yeah, kind of what Carlos was saying too, like there's so many resources that the school has that if you can't afford something, or if you're looking to find like an alternative, like maybe rent something, you could probably find it. Like we have a laptop rent program. We do food share because we care, which is where we hand out bags of groceries to community members and students. It's not just for students. And also like kind of coming back to like how to save, like what Carlos was saying. The Hancock has so many student jobs that they're willing to kind of give anybody like who didn't have experience. For example, I was a receptionist at the athletic center my first 2 years at Hancock, and I had had no clerical experience, but I was able to learn at that job, and and so that was one way that I was also able to stay involved with my school, because I was hearing different kinds of events going on. And also working at Hancock is really flexible with your schedule, and I would recommend working at any university that you're going to be attending, because it really works around your schedule and kind of accommodates the hours that you need. And currently I'm working as a student ambassador with Heidi and Ronaldo, and that's also been like a lot of fun doing, because you got to hear even more resources, you meet a lot of new people, and a lot of the work that we do benefits the community too, not just Hancock, which is really rewarding.
Good stuff, you guys. Anybody have anything else they want to add? I know financial aid is a big deal. One thing, go for it, Carlos. I saw you unmute.
Yeah, sorry. So
That's good.
for us, for UCR and USC, they also have like Chicano programs. I don't know if you guys are all Hispanic, but they definitely have like different programs for ethnicity and race. So they usually have a social worker within somewhere in that network. And if you ask for resources, just like Maribel, Heidi, and Ronald were saying, you definitely ask for those resources. They usually will pair you up with a social worker, and she'll ask you, she'll interview you for questions, and then she'll guide you towards like food stamps. I can apply for them, you know, being a DACA recipient, but she'll definitely give you a limit on cards, and you go to the dining on campus and you get free dining, which is great. I mean, food is always wonderful, right? So definitely, I would say look into maybe a social worker out there that can get you those free services, which really helps you out, because food around nowadays is so expensive. I mean, we live on the Central Coast, free strawberries and free fruit, but when you're out there, it's not free. It's so expensive.
You guys have such great advice. One thing I wanted to mention, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Carlos, but you ended up picking UCR partly because of the financial aid that they were offering you. And that's a really big perk to the UC system. There's something called the Blue and Gold program, where if your family household income is $80,000 or less, they're going to make sure your tuition is covered. So a lot of times I've noticed students not wanting to apply to UCs because they're afraid of the cost, because it looks so much more expensive, when in fact, I know when we were looking at Carlos's aid packages, UC blew Cal State out of the water with what they were offering. So that could be you. So keep your options open is what I'm saying out there. I want to open it up if any of the students that have joined us, if you guys have any questions, I don't want it to just be all of our questions. So feel free unmute or throw something in the chat there. We would love to hear your questions, or if you have specific questions to any of the panelists, because now you know kind of what school that they are attending or have attended and their major. So if you think of those, throw those in the chat or go ahead and unmute. And while you're thinking about that, I'll move on to another question. Or Maria, if you have anything to add, of course, feel free. Okay.
Thank you,
so-
Ashley. And I do want to say that you guys are offering some really excellent advice, and it's really nicely covered from different perspectives, and you're covering all the gamut. Thank you.
I agree. I was thinking the same thing, like, wow, you guys are like hitting all the hot spots that we wanted you, and we didn't even coach you.
I'm like,
so.
wait, do you guys have a big meeting or something?
I know. Okay, something, good question here that Maria, I think, came up with once. Think about the summer or term before you started university. And this might be very weird for some of you because I know you were COVID times. And your first term there, how did it feel? How did you feel? How was your transition from Hancock to the university? And what was the best and worst part of that time period? Just kind of thinking back to the transition. And if you have anything to share, like what or who helped with that transition and making it smooth.
I would say definitely what was the most stressful for me. I will be honest, I did not do good to good because it was semester to quarter. So at a UC system, well, most schools are now switching to quarter, right? But it really like, it's so fast paced. Like if you get the syllabus, definitely read it right away. Don't just ignore it. But it's super fast paced. I know Ashley told me, well, it's a quarter system, be prepared. And I was like, no, I'll be fine. And so I went to UCR. I did not do so good, but the good thing about it, the UC system is they give you, I mean, any school gives you a second chance, right? But definitely take into consideration, you know, we're going to transfer, like prioritize your tasks, you know, if it's your last year at Hancock, you're going to transfer, like make sure that you know that although Hancock does give you, I mean, you know, a semester, although they give you like a month to study for a quiz, you will not get that at a UC system. You will be pushed to do it faster. So definitely take advantage of Hancock at the moment. But when you're using some really test down and prioritize all your tasks, whether it's school or something else, definitely do it in there. But just make sure that the course system is no joke, you know, so.
I think for me, the best and worst things were the same. Since COVID hit, I didn't get the experience to be on campus, to be over there, which when you think about it that way, it sucks because I would have liked to move and experience the city. But the way I thought about it was I saved myself like 500 plus every month on rent. So when you think about it like that, it was really beneficial. As far as classes go, like I said, it was COVID, so I'll be the first to say I hate online classes. I hate them. So I took the first semester to really push myself to become a more independent student. Because even though you should be independent, even when you're in person, I think when you're online, it's another level of being independent because now you can't walk to a certain office after class and ask about your financial aid, or you can't meet up with your groups in after class, or meet up with the professor after class. Now it's everything is on you. So even though that was a little tough, it was definitely beneficial to me to becoming an independent student. And like I said, I saved money on rent, so I can't complain about that.
I can add that I got admitted for this spring 2021, and last semester, since I had a lot of free time, I definitely saved up. But I also got involved even though I wasn't admitted till the semester. I didn't know you can still get involved like a month before or a semester before. And so I thought to myself, like, I don't know anything about, what goes around Berkeley, but I still joined just because you do learn as you go. And so I joined 2 organizations. I learned a pre-law one, and it's called Hermanas Unidas, which is just females on the organization. And it really did help a lot. It made me feel like I was there at Berkeley, but like not really. So just a sense of like a UC system. And also another thing to keep in mind is because UCs are research based, you will do a lot of research technically like every week. And so just know about that, that if you do want to go to UC school, you will do a lot of research, I think, no matter what your major is. So just be aware of that. And if you don't like reading, I definitely don't, I would recommend. But yeah, so definitely do that. And like, I just, I can't stress it out, get involved, because you honestly, the connections are really important. You will find out that later on, you just need to know people. And that's probably like the most important thing, honestly. If you know someone and you don't have like all these requirements, just by knowing the person, you never know. You can get that job, internship, or scholarship. So yeah.
Going off what Heidi said, I think like staying involved, especially like during these times, was crucial. Going into like looking at my success, I think that has really helped me, because I was able to find communities that represented me, but without being on campus. So right now I'm involved in Net Impact, which is the sustainability club in the business college, which is like where my major is located. And since sustainability is like one of my passions and I want to bring that into packaging, I've just been kind of like listening to how sustainability is incorporated in other business models, and then packaging is also like an aspect of that. So that has like opened up a different realm for me. And then at my time at Hancock, I found Polypack, which is the packaging club at Cal Poly. And that has been something that I've been like wanting to join since I found out. So I was able to finally join Polypack, and in that club, I'm able to see the different kinds of majors or the different kinds of jobs that are found in the field. So I would definitely say get involved, um, and also like stay on. Like for me, I transferred from a semester system to a quarter system, so that took a big adjustment. So for me, I like just needed to stay on top of my work, and office hours. Office hours have really helped me in both schools.
Good stuff, you guys. Kind of on that same notion, you've all, it sounds like, have talked about how you've gotten involved on your universities. Anybody not get to share, like maybe some organizations or clubs that you've had an opportunity to join at the university? That's so cool to hear that you guys are still able to get involved even through COVID and remote. I'm really glad to hear that. So I didn't know, that was really going on. It seems I felt bad for our transfer students going in this time, so I'm glad to hear the universities are trying to make it somewhat normal. So any other involvement and what that's been like for you?
I wanted to add on, although COVID or the pandemic did hit, right, and schools are closing, right, in a sense, I feel bad because I close them, but in a sense, I would say that definitely take it for advantage. Use it on your application to see what you could do to help the pandemic. That's what I'm doing. I'm looking to apply to my residency program and hopefully finish my next 2 years successfully, right? As I'm working or exposing myself in the field. But definitely look out for any type of job that gives back to the pandemic. It will definitely make you a stronger candidate on your application if you want to do graduate work, or you want to apply to research, or you want to be an assistant research for the TAs. Definitely, I recommend doing that. That's what I did. My TA was helping me out do like a fellowship scholarship with them so I can get into USC, which I think helped me out a lot too. But definitely use the pandemic life to see what the differences or uniqueness of when you're applying to application, because I know it's going to be more difficult because everyone's at home. So it's kind of like, what did you do during the pandemic? I know it's definitely hard, but never give up, find out. Definitely you can ask me if there's a job out there. Sometimes we have jobs from the public health department where you don't need any degree, maybe just an associate, since most of you guys are transfer students. But if you guys are always in need of something, we do work remotely too. But other than that, yeah, definitely use it for something like as your advantage if you guys can, right?
Oh, and I was gonna mention too, just like here at Hancock, we have EOPS. We have I think it's just called EOP at the university. So I'm involved in that one, and it's like I said earlier, it's just nice to have a counselor that you meet with periodically to that you, so, you know, it's the same face. I've met the same counselor twice, and it's nice to have the same person to talk to about where you are, where you're going. Um, she's the one that let me know that I could graduate next year. So because of her, I started the application process, and along the lines of what Maribel said about meeting with your professors in office hours, also your major advisors, they're very important. Those are like the people. They're major advisors for a reason. They know their stuff in that field. They probably have experience in that field more likely than not. So those are people that you definitely want to get acquainted with. Meet with them not just when you need them, just when you have the slightest question. You know, get your face, you know, engraved in their memory. Don't let them forget you.
Yeah, and also I found out through going through a lot of meetings like these that a lot of professors get lonely when people don't go to their office hours. So definitely go visit them. They even said even if you go and just check up on them, that they'll be okay. And I felt really bad because I was like, it's very true. They have a lot of office hours. And like myself, and I'm pretty sure like other students, we think that students go. And because we all think that students go, nobody goes. So definitely, and like he said, go with your advisors because honestly, they're advisors for a reason. You should bug them, ask them a lot of questions, find out when you can graduate and all the resources that you need because like we keep saying, they're out there. You just have to go and ask.
Maribel, go for it.
Yeah, I feel like Heidi like already covered most of it, but I just want to touch on like what Heidi and Ronaldo were both saying. Going to office hours is a really good skill to start building at Hancock. And then once you go to that university, I was able to take that skill with me. And even though we're going remote, I'm still able to make the connections with my major advisors, and they have been able to get to know who I am and see what job opportunities I'm looking for, and have been able to connect me with internships that kind of align with what I'm trying to do in my major, which is super helpful.
Are there, I think at least one of you, I think it might have been Carlos, talked about career services. Has anybody else used career services either at Hancock or at your university? Any advice there? I know that was huge for me when I was in college.
Yeah, when I was here at Hancock, I used the career center, and I talked to some of them there, and I was able to get an internship for the DA's office here in Santa Maria. So for a while, before I started the university, because then I got pretty busy, but I was going to the courts here in Santa Maria. I was an intern for their victim witness program, which, you know, showed me a side to the criminal justice field that people don't really think about much. You know, people think about, you know, catching the criminals and this and that, but they don't think about the victims. So it opened up this other side of criminal justice for me that I might want to explore even once I graduate the university as far as career goes. So definitely looking to them to find you an internship that'll suit you is really important.
Yeah, and I do want to mention because it is important. So we both applied at the same time and at the same position, but only he got it. So honestly, it's gonna happen like that a lot of times, where you either don't get something, but there's always something else later on. And he has a point. You do want to experience what you want to, you know, major in. Because like I said, if I wouldn't have gone to the museum, I probably would have still been miserable doing child development. And so definitely experience is important. And yeah, we both found out through Christina here at the Career Center. And then at the UCs, the Career Center also, you know, whatever school you're interested in, I recommend following them on Instagram, but not specifically the school, but the resources. So like the Career Center, the Transfer Center, or like anything. Like, for example, I didn't know you can transfer from a UC to a, you know, Cal State or vice versa. Like, I didn't know you can do that. I thought it was only for a CC to a 4-year, but you find out stuff like that. And then also the Career Center at the UCs, they do like a lot of meetings and workshops like every single day. So that's very helpful. And sometimes, actually, most times you don't have to be from the school. You can be a student from another school school, and that's really important too, because then you find out, oh, okay, I do want to go to this school, or like I don't want to go to this school. So definitely right now that you're at Hancock, I would recommend following their resources pages of any school that you're interested in.
Those were all like both really good resources that Hancock does have, and also a couple of them that I used that I didn't hear mentioned were the Hancock Handshake, which was a program that, or it's a program that helps find work-related internships or jobs happening during the summer. And with local companies. And then there's also the Career Closet, I believe it's called, where they give you clothing for interviews or things that you need to be like professional for. And then when I was transferring to Cal Poly, they have a career readiness center. And during my time, I've been able to get my resume checked multiple times, and they're super helpful. I've done a mock interview there, which is really helpful because interviews are they're pretty scary because you really need to know yourself. You need to know the industry. It's a lot to prepare for, more than just like what you're expecting. And then they also have like templates for your resume, for thank you letters, and for cover letters, which are also really important in applying for internships or co-ops.
I want to mention real quick that for a lot of applications that you'll be doing once you transfer, they mostly all of them ask for resumes. And I actually got mine done here at the Career Center, and I got it done when I started here, and I still get it done here, even though I'm at UC Berkeley. So here, like, you know, never stop getting resources from Hancock. I'm pretty sure they're all willing to still help you, but they definitely do a great job with the resumes, with the applications, with internships. So definitely visit them and the transfer center here.
Good stuff. Okay, coming kind of down. Anybody else have any other questions they want to throw in there? Well, if nobody else does, I have one more thing, but anybody thoughts or even questions for each other, panelists?
Yeah, I actually wanted to add on something. I wanted to say apply broadly to many schools. Of course, I expected a lot of rejections myself, but make sure that you make your final decision on where you want to apply and where you want to go. And think about applying broadly. I think is very essential. Getting, like for myself, getting into medical school is an absolute meat grinder. Most schools have like a 1 or 2 acceptance rate, but definitely apply to more than one school. I think Ashley even told me that. But yeah, don't stick on just one school. I mean, yeah, maybe it's your top list, but just apply a lot. Think broadly. Don't just, think of it as, oh, I'll get into this school, because chances are, someone else could get into it, but don't think like that, but I'm more of like, oh, I'm not going to get in.
Not going to get in, but USC Medical School, right?
I have something so important real quick. EOPS also gave me a waiver that way I can apply to 9 schools, or I think it was, yeah, 8.
Should be 8. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 8. I paid for 1, but honestly, that's why EOPS and other resources are really great, because then, you get all these stuff. I would have had to pay each one, which is like 75 to like 100. So it's all different. So definitely join these resources here.
I was going to say too, along the lines of applying to many schools, and even if you have your mind, your heart set on one school, keep in mind that it might not work out always the way you planned it. You might have planned to, I'm going to go to this school and this school and this school only, and it doesn't work out that way. But when I'm a big believer in you'll end up where you're supposed to be. So no matter which university you'll go to, I feel like you're going to find the thing that, that is for you there, no matter what it is.
Such good advice. I mean, you guys literally just like picked my brain and took everything that I wanted you to say. So good job. Maria's threw in the chat.
That's because they're so smart and sophisticated and mature now that they're fully transferred.
I know. Maria wanted to know if there's any, and I love what you guys already shared, but any other special advice for dreamers? I'm so happy we have some dreamers on the panel. That's the good stuff. Get it out there.
I'd say it's that, you know, a few of us are dreamers, so we know that it's scary. It's very, you know, that feeling of uncertainty, and you don't know what's gonna happen. But I'd still, you know, push the boundaries. Whatever you think you're capable of, you're probably capable of even more. So definitely, don't count yourself out of anything. You see, Carlos, I think he mentioned he was a dreamer, and he's in med school. So, you know, things like that. You know, there's people that count themselves out of stuff like that because they are in these situations. So just like I said, just put yourself out there, get out of your comfort zone, um, and you'll do fine as long as you know you really have the will for it.
And also don't let like just the title make it a hardship, because honestly, just think about it. There's certain stuff that a lot of dreamers have done that, you know, people from here obviously, you know, haven't done. So that I always remember that I haven't done something obviously besides travel that others haven't done. And so that's always getting me motivated, that I'm in the same room as others who have other abilities, other resources, and I'm still doing the same thing. So definitely continue to do a lot, everything that you want to do. Honestly, try it, because you don't know. The worst is you can say no, but there's so many options out there. So don't let the whole dreamer thing, you know, bring you down. And it's definitely something not to be ashamed of, because there's so many dreamers out there. For example, we wouldn't have mentioned, you wouldn't have known. I didn't know Carlos was one either. So just reach out to people. I know I want to do law school, and I didn't know that there's like a few lawyers out there who are also undocumented. And so just by doing your research, you find out that there's a lot of lawyers who are, you know, professors, teachers, engineers, you know, who are business people. So yeah, don't let the whole dreamer thing make you feel less than anyone else.
So my mom is a dreamer, and she's been my inspiration throughout my educational journey, because I just know, like, if she did it, I can do it. And I would just say that, like, I know it's really hard to have like that like vision, but like what the steps that you're doing matter, and like they do impact your future and for your next generation. And so, I mean, I always say that the strength is in the struggle. So no matter like what obstacles are in front of you, you like you can do it. Like if there's others that have done it, like you can do it too.
Before I forget, I'm sure our panelists are happy to share your email. If you guys want to just chat it in there, and then I'm going to put it in a document to share, because for the recording, I need it to share so people who watch this. So if you guys don't mind, just throw your email into the chat if you are comfortable with students asking questions, because they may want to follow up with questions. And then I'll put it in a doc over here and share it on the screen. Any final words of advice or any final questions? Our students that are here, now is the time if you have specific questions.
It's always so quiet at the end.
Any final words of advice from our panelists?
I would just say that school doesn't really have a timeline, so you really do it at the pace that you take it. I have always advocated for that, and now that I'm noticing that I'm going to be taking a little bit longer time, I just have to remember that it's at your own pace, and it's going to get done when it gets done. So don't stress yourself out. Mental health is really important. So just do what you can, and you're always like if you're going to school, you're always progressing, so there's no wrong way of doing it.
For me, it would be, don't be afraid to ask or to join anything, and also apply to the school you think you won't get into, because what are the odds, you know? So definitely apply, and don't, you know, if you always feel like you can't do it, or you get, you know, you get told by someone that, oh, you probably won't, you probably will. So definitely just do it. And I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, mine's along the lines of what Maribel said about mental health. It really matters. So definitely push yourself to do more than what you think you can do, but it's not bad to feel like you're overwhelmed and you need a little break. Maybe you take a lesser load than you did the previous semester. It's not a bad thing. Like Maribel said, as long as you're progressing, heading in the right direction. So take care of yourself before anything.
I want to lastly say I wouldn't have expected any of us to be on here, which is really great. So I'm happy to be here. I would say definitely don't be afraid to embrace your identity when appropriate, right? Of course, so like for instance, sometimes that identity can arise from like a powerful, compelling story that can only you can tell about yourself. Like if, for example, in an essay, definitely use that as your advantage. You know, whatever the case is, use it. Don't be afraid to.
Awesome. You guys have the best advice. I'm so glad we recorded this because I think we're going to be able to get it out there that way. I'm going to share the screen so you guys can see the email contacts here. So I'll leave it up there until we jump off of here, and then the schools that our panelists attend or have attended. And I'll ask if, I'm sure Evan won't mind too. We lost Evan because he had to go to class. But we can always get that email if anybody's interested. Evan went to, or is at Cal Lutheran, and he's a film major. So if you want his contact, always reach out to myself or Maria, and we can get that for you, or Pam. So thank you so much. I wish we had like a big clapping machine because you guys were awesome. Everything you shared, spot on. Such valuable advice that you guys shared. So I hope students out there, you're listening, really good stuff that will help you to be a successful transfer student at Hancock and beyond. So please do not be afraid to reach out, and obviously reach out to myself, Maria, or Pam if you have questions about planning, transferring, trips, workshops, whatever we have going on. Maria also threw in the chat earlier that we'll have a financial aid workshop coming up April 15th. I'm trying to go back and remind myself of the time. Maria's doing this one, April 15th, 12 to 1:30. So the Zoom link's on our UTC website. Really good workshop, guys. That's the one that helps with financial aid for after transfer, talking about what it looks like, how to prepare for it, understanding your financial aid if you're a current transfer student who's getting ready to transition out. So attend that. Any other final words from my colleagues?
Well, we want to thank you guys for letting us share our experience. It was also good learning about Carlos and Maribel and Evan, I think that's his name. Yeah,
Evan.
It was really good. Yeah, so thank you again for letting us join.
Yeah, thank you. And don't go anywhere because we'll probably reach out to you all again in the future because you guys were really great. This is good advice. And then we have gift cards for both our students who attended and our panelists. So just reach out to Pam Story and she can get that set up for you so you can pick up a gift card. So thank you. I know when we're in person, we usually try to give you guys a little goodie or something. So hopefully a little food gift card will show our appreciation because we really appreciate the advice that you shared. So Pam threw her email and her phone extension in there. So gift cards, contact Pam. But thank you to everybody for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Have an
everyone.
awesome
Great
day.
job, people. It does take a village, and you